Hey, what's up, guys? Tim here from By the Pump. Just want to go over RARS and then also do a brief video watch list of some other stocks I think might be in play for this next week. RARS, as you know, killed a lot of traders, a lot of big losses on this one, but there are some lessons to be learned from it, and I think it's important that we look at what happened because I think we're going to be in a very similar situation in the next week or two. So, RARS, what happened was Victorymark sent out emails on it Wednesday afternoon at about 32 cents. Did a really fast minute spike up here to 49, briefly touched 51, and then just held 49 for a while. WDCO was liquidating into it. They were the only market maker on the ask for the majority of this time, and they just were not letting up on the selling and the dumping of shares. And so when you see that happening, it's pretty obvious that a pullback is coming. And so once the ask started to stack up with additional market makers, I got out of my position, I let it dip, and then I watched at 45 and 44.5 as all the big blocks went off. And all those blocks at 45 and 44.5 were the bid being smacked rather than people trying to smack WDCO on the ask like they were up at 49. So my advice for the next one is you're going to want to buy alongside those blocks. Maybe not early on when it's just starting to do it because you're not sure if they're going to break it lower. But we had a good 15, 20 minutes of it here, and then it started to uptick a little bit. So if you see a situation like that where all these big blocks are going off, the bid is getting smacked, and then it starts to turn up, that's where you want to get in. And this is where I re-entered. I re-entered in here right around 44, 44.5, right before it turned up and started to spike again. And this is where you want to enter crazy penny pumps. This is the superior risk reward because way too many people bought at 49 up here. Way too many people started chasing this spike. It's better to miss it than to put yourself in a situation where you're going to get killed overnight. And I know hindsight is 20/20, but fact of the matter is we did not know that Victorymark is connected, and we're still not entirely sure that Victorymark is connected to Crazy Penny. So the reason this is so important and the reason I want to go over this is because my theory is that in the next week or two, Victorymark is going to lead off on another email pump on another stock, and we're all going to be in the exact same situation of wondering, is Crazy Penny going to follow? And I think that a lot of traders are going to be reluctant to get in, reluctant to hold overnight, and this is exactly what Crazy Penny wants because they don't want you loading up size right from the beginning of their pump. They want to keep you guessing because it's not good for them if people are selling big blocks of shares into their pump a week and a half down the road when the stock is up 150% or more. So on the next one, if this is the way it plays out and if Victorymark does lead off again with emails, again, look to enter around where all the blocks go off on the dip. SNPK wasn't exactly like this. What SNPK did was they tanked it right out of the get-go, sent off a bunch of blocks around 30 cents a share, and then by the time they actually sent out emails on it, it was already at 35 or 36 cents a share. So you're not always going to have gotten emails by the time you see the blocks going off. But if you've got a stock on one of your volume filters or something like that that is trading out of nowhere all of a sudden, all these huge blocks, when those blocks start to, or when the ask starts to lighten up or when the stock starts to turn a little bit, you just want to get in as close to those blocks as you can. And that's the way to handle this next one. Because even if you bought in a bunch of stock here at 45 and you held all of it overnight, a big position, saying, oh, I think that this is going to be the next crazy penny pump, well, look at where it opened Thursday morning. Opened right at 45. And you would have had a chance to get out here. It wouldn't have been easy. I had a small position overnight, and I didn't get out until 42. That was partly my fault because I wasn't paying attention to it right out of the gate. I don't think I put in a sell order until 9:32 or so. So that was on me. That was my mistake. But if I had been a couple minutes quicker, I probably would have been out 43.5, 44. So getting in alongside those blocks and then getting the FU email from Crazy Penny, you still only risk a few cents a share. It's not too bad of a loss where you've got all this upside. If you choose, you're going to hold and you're going to hope that Crazy Penny does send the email. Obviously, I'm not going to recommend loading up a lot of size if Victorymark does lead off on the next one, just in case something like this does happen again. But I do personally believe Crazy Penny will follow through next time and send out emails overnight. That's the way that they're going to keep people on their toes and, again, prevent people from loading up size. So anyway, I just hope that gives you a little bit better of a guide on how to trade the next one and what I'm looking for. But yeah, just watch the blocks and be ready to go. I know GTCP is a big rumored one to be the next crazy penny pick. So keep your eye on GTCP, look for huge blocks to go off, and whether it's before or after emails, try to enter around there if you can and see what happens. Let's move on now, get on to a couple different stocks that I'm going to be watching for next week. Let's look at ORYN. ORYN is the pump by the pumpers who did STEV and STVF. Let's get this to a 5-day chart here. This one actually was another good lesson here actually about buying near blocks. We did not get a pump email on this until Tuesday night, or Wednesday morning actually, Wednesday pre-market. We got our first pump email confirming that this was by the STEV and STVF pumpers. They're called the Paragon Report, so I'm going to call them Paragon Report from here on out because obviously I can't say STEV clearly. But Monday morning, this popped up on my scan. There were blocks going off at 75 cents, did a brief dip below 75 cents, and then more blocks at 75. I got in a position here at 75, and then I sold at 76, I think, like a little bitch, which really pissed me off later in the day when the thing was up to 90. So just another good example of how you get a stock trading out of nowhere. You want to get in near those initial blocks. Um, and then, obviously if those blocks crack, just get out as fast as you can because you don't want to risk it being a big turn, you don't want it to turn down on you and you're going to take a quick 50% loss if you try to bag hold it. So anyway, this is by the Paragon Report. They've had some great short squeezes in the past. I am not as convinced that this will be quite as explosive as a pump as the last couple were, just because I think shorts are going to start being a little more careful with them. But right now, going into Monday and into next week, I'm going to be looking for a breakout to buy. It kind of broke out here past 121, got up to 124, but then couldn't do the confirmation breakout in the afternoon, couldn't even retest it. I think this needs another pullback. I think it will pull back early in the week. And then I hope it's off to the races. But really, ORYN, I'll look to either load on a dip or buy the next breakout. When it's kind of low volume like this, I think it only traded 1 million shares today. It gets a little bit tougher to buy dips. It turns too fast, so I think probably waiting for the breakout is the best move. But if you look back at some of their past ones like STVF, buying breakouts obviously is the way to go. It had a breakout right in here at about 114 that got it started. Within a couple days, it was up to 148. When it did the 150 breakout, I think was the number on this day, it just took off and was gone. And it had a couple intraday breakouts in here too that just absolutely made it soar. So with this pumper, we know breakouts get it to squeeze, breakouts get it to move. So watching breakouts is my plan for ORYN. Let's also talk about LUXR. Just going to touch on this one real fast. Basically, only thing I'm watching for at this point with LUXR is can it maintain the higher lows? I think we probably get a gap down and another panic on Monday. If that is what happens and it sets a lower low below this 165 mark, chart's broken, and I think it's done for good. See if you can get shorts. It's been tough to locate, but it'd be great if they could get this to squeeze one more time. It was kind of disappointing they couldn't after this strong close on Thursday. I thought we'd get a spike and maybe a challenge of a breakout here today, but instead it went completely the opposite way. So LUXR might be done. Confirmation that it's finished will be the 165 breakdown below there. IDNG, this is a slow one. This is going to be one of the slow uptick pumps. Green day, green day, green day, and then it's going to have a big collapse. I boxed up 5,000 shares today. I want to be able to get short when it collapses. I'll be watching for any green-red action, and I'm going to be shortening at that point. No interest otherwise besides that. Finally, GWBU. This pump is ridiculous. Actually, there is no confirmed pump on it yet. Look at all this volume it's getting. It's got to be wash trades or something like that. Keep your eyes open. Look for confirmation on it from somebody. But I'll be looking for a pullback to buy this or something like that. Or if it sets up for a breakout, I think I'd buy that too. But that's the main stuff, guys. Good luck. Hope RARS didn't kill you too bad this week.